Our next guest claims in their new documentary, Reg Session, that EPA regulations are destroying our country. Here to discuss the impact of those regulations and this new documentary, Reg Session, the Executive Director for Energy Makes America Great, Marita Noon. Marita, it's so good to have you here as we approach the noon hour. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a treat to be with you.
So, the inspiration behind this documentary, over-regulation?
Most definitely. We're certainly seeing over-regulation hurting all industry in America, but particularly the energy industry, coal-fired generation, coal mining, oil, gas. The EPA is gunning for all of them.
Marita, in the film, you talk about the impact of the EPA's regulations. Can you tell us which industries have felt the biggest impact from the government regulations and how it impacts the economy?
Yeah, definitely. So far, the coal industry has been the hardest hit. Both coal mining and coal-fueled electricity generation. And JD, as you mentioned in the introduction, that this Clean Power Plan aims to shut down hundreds of coal-fired power plants in this country, and that's having a huge impact on jobs. Tens of thousands of jobs have been lost already, with more to come as a result of that. And while Obama has not had an outright war on the oil and gas industry, his surrogates have been doing a really great job through an anti-fracking campaign that they are launching on his behalf.
So all this is going on. It plays out politically and in terms of public policy. Now, the documentary, I understand, also discusses crony capitalism. I guess you're taking a look at the curious relationship between donors to so-called, quote, green energy. Well, really the green they bring into Mr. Obama's campaign and those of other leftists.
Yeah, there's definitely a connection between those greens. And I've worked along with a researcher, Christine Lakatos, to exclusively focus on a lot of the green energy, what I like to call crony corruption. And in our work, we have found that 90% of the cases we've investigated have connections to high-ranking Democrats, including President Obama, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid.
Marita, one of the things that I found very interesting about your documentary is that you actually say the EPA's regulation is causing more worldwide pollution. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's very true, and especially if you watch the whole documentary, it's really spelled out. But what's happening is the EPA regulations are shutting down industry in the United States. That industry is then moving overseas to manufacture whatever their goods might be, including cars. And in the documentary, we point out that GM makes 7 out of 10 cars not in the United States. So this industry, a lot of industry goes overseas. They go to countries such as China that do not have as good environmental regulations as we have in America, do not have the clean air policies that we have in America, and therefore they are actually emitting more pollution of various kinds, particulate matter, mercury, sulfur, various things into the air that we've cleaned up in America.
And we will have to leave it there. Marita Noon, we appreciate the info on the new documentary, Reg Session, and we'll look for that. Good to have Marita on as we approach high noon. Speaking of high noon in the East, we are going to be followed in mere seconds by Midpoint with our friend Ed Berliner. That will be followed at 3 p.m. Eastern by the Steve Malzberg Show with who else but Steve Malzberg. For now, we'll continue to monitor developments with that shooting at the Canadian Parliament, and we hope to see you back here tomorrow morning, 9 in the East, 6 in the West. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.